my name is Tyson McMurrin, and I am the Director of Customer Growth and Innovation at Third Way Business Systems. For those of you that don't know Third Way Business Systems, we are an SAP Business One Gold reseller. We do both product development, and we also are a value-added reseller working directly with customers. We've been the longest standing partner in North America. We've been doing SAP Business One since 2003, and myself, I've been working in the SAP Business One channel since 2007. One area that we've always had questions around is the ability for customers to perform click and pay. We have a credit card solution that sits within SAP Business One, and we started investigating to see kind of what was out in the marketplace and did some market research in regards to whether or not we wanted to develop something or what we wanted to do. And we came across PayFabric, and we've partnered with PayFabric. And what you'll see today is a fully integrated payment portal solution that provides click to pay solutioning around it as well. So for those of you that aren't aware of PayFabric, I have David Helly with us today, and he's the product manager with PayFabric, and he'll be covering off the portal portion of today's presentation. And what I'm going to do to start with is just kind of show you how the SAP Business One integration works. But before that, I just want to kind of step through why we chose to partner with PayFabric, and it really comes down to streamlining the AR process. And historically, this is kind of what happens: is you have a user that will post an SAP Business One invoice that will get emailed somehow. Normally it's you save the file and email it from your Outlook, or maybe you're clicking the email within SAP Business One. And then there's this whole dunning process where you're sending statements or payment reminders to get paid. Eventually you get a hold of somebody and they say, well, can you just take my credit card? And now somebody's writing this down on a piece of paper, not PCI compliant. We're going to a terminal, we're keying that into a terminal, and we're processing that payment. And then we're taking that receipt and we're emailing it to the customer that they paid. And then we still have the step within SAP Business One of applying that payment against the invoice or invoices. And all this is time consuming and kind of redundant, and we're touching information that the customer might not want us, writing down on a piece of paper, and that's credit card information, and it's certainly not PCI compliant to do those types of things. So as I mentioned, when we started looking into, the best way to solve this process without having to touch the customer's credit card, we found the Evo product. And one of the big things within the PayFabric product is we kind of uncovered the 5 main reasons why you would want to use PayFabric. And one is that you want to accept credit card, and we're also seeing big requests right now for e-transfer or ACH transactions. The ability to integrate that payment processing into SAP, so getting rid of that keying in the payment and sending the receipt to the customer. The streamlining of AR, this is a really big topic right now with the supply chain so stressed. Cash flow within companies is really strained, just because there's so much inventory that's sitting on water right now or sitting in ports, and it's not moving. So just getting a faster accounts receivable cash cycle is kind of front of mind right now. The other thing is, just with everybody working remotely, this paper process of entering in the credit card payment on a terminal, well, you might not have people in the office and that's where your terminal is, so it eliminates a lot of that and it streamlines your process. And I talked about the handwriting down the credit card on a piece of paper. Well, a lot of customers are concerned about the PCI requirements and those types of things, and making sure that their customers' information is secure and protected. And the last one that today in the presentation we probably won't get too deep into, but it's one that we hear a lot of, which is the processing fees are really expensive with the way that I described in the first slide, where we're keying in a credit card, because there's risk associated with that, and the other side of it is that a lot of these payment processors aren't necessarily giving you the best rates. So that's something that we can help you with as well. So PayFabric has both kind of that merchant bank support for you, along with the PayFabric portal solution. So really it kind of gives you that whole payment global solution. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you what we at Third Wave have done in order to integrate with PayFabric, and we're using a tool that we've developed called Bizweaver to do the integration between SAP Business One and PayFabric. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into SAP Business One now, and I'm going to create an SAP Business One document. So in here you can see that I have my AR invoice, and we've done our pick and pack and all those types of things, and I'm just going to process this invoice. So I could use the invoice generation wizard. There's lots of different ways to create the invoice, but ultimately what's happened is we've created that invoice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Bizweaver. This is our integration tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this workflow right here that's going to send the invoices to PayFabric. So this process here could be triggered based off of post-transaction notification. We could also just trigger it based off of a schedule where we would send the invoices out at a particular schedule. And this is just going to run. It's going to connect to PayFabric, and it's going to pass any invoices that have been done. And again, this is the best employee that you'll ever have, Bizweaver, because it just sits there and it listens for events, and when those events happen, it does what it's designed to do. So everything that I've done within SAP Business One is fairly straightforward. Bizweaver is going to pick that up, and it's going to pass that over to PayFabric. And this is what PayFabric does for us. It's going to give us that pay link. It's going to send the invoice out. It's going to handle all the credit card processing side of things. So this is where I'm going to focus on these first two circles, and then David's going to come in and talk about the payment portal, the customer service portal, and the auto pay portions of today's presentation. So what's happened is just now, I don't know if you heard my email chime, but I just got a email from PayFabric. So you can see this comes from PayFabric, and it says that there's an invoice available. So within here we have our report. That's going to be our invoice. So this is our physical invoice. And that's gonna, I can print this and all that self-service. So along with the payment link down here, we also have the ability to send the invoice along with that. As I mentioned, David's going to be talking about the register and the portal side of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click Pay Now, and it's just going to take me out to a one-time link for me to do an express pay. I've done this in the past, so it's remembered because I've added to my wallet within PayFabric, and this is something that David will cover off. But when you first land, and if you don't have credit cards in your wallet, it's just going to say, do you want to add a credit card or an e-check? So from here, I'm just going to go and select my credit card just to save time, and I'm going to confirm and pay the $402.80. And this is where, as a customer, I get my payment receipt immediately. So all that accounts receivable function that we've done, the customer has completely self-serviced. The customer has been in control of their credit card information, and the customer is also getting all of their documents fed to them in real time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to create the incoming payment into SAP Business One, because if we go into Business One and if we go to that invoice, you can see that, there's a balance due on it. So, and I know that that payment's been done. So we have a couple of workflows here. One is that if you pay me a check, I'm going to update PayFabric that payment's been created. And what that allows us to do is keep in sync with the payment portal, so that when the customer's looking at all the stuff that David's going to be showing, it's all exactly real time to what SAP Business One is reflecting for your customer. So the same thing with like credits and any of those types of things that David's going to be showing in his presentation. We're going to pass all that information back and forth. But for right now, I'm just going to take that payment from PayFabric, and our best employee, Bizweaver, has just taken that information from PayFabric, has created the incoming payment in SAP Business One, and applied it against that invoice. So if we refresh this document, you can see that it's now paid. And if we were to go and look at our relationship map, we'll see that incoming payment was created for this. So everything that Bizweaver is doing is happening in real time, and you can see here, here's my my payment reference, so that when we're doing a reconciliation against our credit card information, it's gonna match up to our payment references, so that everything's kind of tied together. So my role in today's presentation is showing you how easy it is to do click to pay, which is essentially, I create an invoice, I want it to email to a customer that has credit card payment terms. PayFabric picks that up and sends them the invoice, and the customer can then click and pay, and we apply that payment. All of the payment portal processes that David's going to show, everything that is there, we have the integration back and forth between PayFabric and SAP Business One. But I just wanted to quickly show you how the integration actually works, so that when you start to see the customer payment portal and the things that David's going to be presenting, that you have a good understanding of what it is that that is happening. So at this point, I'm going to pass the presentation over to David, and David's going to cover off what PayFabric is from a customer payment portal perspective.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tyson. Can you hear me okay? Sound check?
Yeah, I can hear you, David. I cannot see your screen yet. You're just going to have to share your screen. And I'm sending an email right now.
Yeah, there should be the reminder. Okay.
I'm going to mute.
Hi everyone, I'm David. I'm product manager here at with the PayFabric team. So I'm going to be showing basically a few more parts of the functionality that's available with the PayFabric solution. So first up, I'm going to talk about the customer portal. So kind of scaling the process back that Tyson just went through, back to where the email was sent out of the SAP Business One system, and then it was sent to me as a customer. So this kind of the email, same examples, different email obviously, but from here I have the two options. So Tyson just went through the pay now option, which did that immediate quick payment, one click, very quick and easy. The other option your customers will also have is the ability to access the customer portal. So in here, you'll see I have a register button. So once the user go ahead and clicks a register button, they'll actually get taken to like an account screen where all they have to do is really set up the account, because they clicked that button that had some special code in the background, and it knows that I'm going to register. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my information in, which I already did. So I just picked a username and a password, and then I can go ahead and click register. So once I register, it will then go ahead and create my account. And then I just need to go ahead and log in. So sorry about that. Okay, so I will go ahead and log into my portal. And right now I'm the customer with his, oh, if I can spell customer right. Okay, so then I can go ahead and log into the portal, and I'll get taken to the page where I can basically, now as a user, because I logged in and didn't just click the Pay Now link, I have access to a lot more functionality to basically pay off my invoices. So from here, I get taken to a screen where I can see all the invoices I have on file. And from here, I can click into each one. I can basically see what was purchased, similar thing. And by the way, the invoice and like the styling can be totally customized. You see I have like a very fake logo, and some of this information is available. It can all be styled to kind of meet your business's look and feel. But from here, I can go ahead and make a payment on not just one invoice now, but I can actually pay multiple. And if your company allows it, you can turn this on or off. You can also allow partial payments. So if you want to do like a smaller payment amount, if I just maybe want to pay $100 right now, I have that option. But you can turn that off as an organization if you'd like to. But from here, let me go ahead and continue to pay my invoice. And then I get taken to pretty much that same payment screen that Tyson just showed. I do have a few more options here. One thing is I have the option to apply my credit balance. So if I want to apply credits that maybe my customer had, they maybe had some return, or they made a payment, a prepayment in advance, I can apply credits from here. I can choose which credits I want to apply. Let me just do a credit card payment for now though. I can also add a prepayment if I want to pay something in the future in advance. I can add notes, but otherwise I get access to that same saved customer wallet. So because this is a returning customer who has paid before, their saved payment method is loaded automatically. If I want to use a new credit card, I have the option as well. I also can add an e-check if I want to do like an ACH transaction as a customer. Let me go ahead and use my saved credit card. And I can go ahead and put the CVC code in. And then I can go ahead and click confirm and pay. And then basically the payment process is exactly the same as what Tyson just showed. So the payment's automatically going to get sent back into SAP Business One and applied to the invoices using Bizweaver. But then from here, my customer gets their payment receipt, and the receipt's automatically emailed out to my user. It can also be emailed out to another person. If maybe the person on file is not the right person, or as a customer, maybe I want to send it to like my boss or some expense team or something, I can go ahead and forward the email off to somebody else. I can download the receipt as well if I just need to save it for other purposes. Then some of the other functionality we have on the customer portal. Next up is autopay. So autopay is probably something a lot of us are familiar with in our day-to-day lives, like paying our phone bills or our utility bills. We just want to find that automatic payment option because we don't want to log into a portal every month and manage a payment. We just kind of want it to happen in the background. So one of the things we have available is autopay. And our autopay is designed to be really flexible for your company as a business. So when I click here, I actually have a lot of options in my autopay just for demonstration purpose, but you probably just have one option, maybe skip the options entirely, or you maybe one or two options at most. But you can see I just have a different, I have a lot of options to kind of show the examples of what we can do. So maybe the first example is like just a kind of standard monthly autopay where the customer's balance will be paid entirely on the 15th of the month. So as a business, from my business, I have decided that all my customers must pay on the 15th of the month because that works for my business. It's kind of just our standard accounting flow or something along those lines. So when I click here, or so when my customer comes in here and they want to pay their invoices, they can just maybe just click the monthly autopay option, and it's really easy for them to sign up for autopay. It just says pay on the 15th of the month, and they have their saved payment method. They can change it or add one as well if they want, and they just have to activate. It's really just one click. And then next time they come back in here, they can see that their next payment is going to happen on the 15th, and the amount is going to be based on all their outstanding invoices, which is currently $600 or so. But then kind of going back to those other options I talked about, in my example, I have a bunch of options like maybe my customers pay a certain amount each month that is expected, or maybe I want to let the customer choose. The customer can just pick how much they want to pay us. You can see when I click this option, now I have more options to do. I can pick the amount. I can even pick the date if my business as the business decides to let my customers pick the date for when they want to start the automatic payments. We have the option to provide that as well. We can even say like maybe only pay certain types of invoices. If maybe you have like multiple like sort of like business lines where you have like a recurring business line and maybe something that's not so recurring that wouldn't be paid by auto pay, you have those options to only pay certain types of invoices. And you can even like schedule it to only pay on the immediately on the due date. Some customers like that, they want to pay at the last, pretty much the last day possible. You can offer that to your customers as well. So there's a lot of options available with auto pay. It's really just based on how your company would like to set it up for your customers to pay. Next up is prepayment. That's just kind of making a quick payment on the account, maybe in advance of invoices, or if they want to put like a deposit that would basically just be unapplied to invoices, customers will have that option. They can view their full history. So if customers want to, no one has to call in anymore and say, hey, can you send me an invoice? When they call in, you can just say, hey, go to the customer portal and get your own invoice whenever you want. And so you won't have to keep sending out invoices in that case. They can access their full wallet, so the customer can see all their saved credit cards and ACH information. And one of the key points that I think Tyson touched on earlier in the presentation was the security side. By allowing your customers to manage their own credit card information on the PayFabric portal, rather than having customers give your team credit card numbers over the phone, it makes the PCI compliance scope much, much smaller. So if your customers enter a credit card directly onto the PayFabric portal, that credit card number would never touch your organization, making like when you're applying for PCI compliance, that process is much easier, because basically you tell PCI that, hey, the credit card's never touched our business. We had no opportunity to ever drop the credit card. And PCI has a lot less questions and a lot less requirements for a business that can say that, because really there's really no point where the credit card could be dropped from your hands. It would just purely be something where the customer had their own credit card and they entered it on their choice. And just that flexibility really makes customers a lot happier and helps with the security standpoint a lot. And then last up is users. So, from a single company, a customer can set up multiple people to make payments, access their account. Maybe if you're like in a B2C scenario, you have like a husband and a wife wanting to access the same account, or maybe just different people in the business, different accounts payables people, or people who need to access the invoices. You can set up multiple users under a single customer account. So that kind of covers most of the functionality on the customer portal side. So next up, I'm actually going to go over to the internal side. So as a business, you also have access to your own like PayFabric portal that you can log into. So your employees, so now I'm kind of switching roles here. So now I'm basically an employee of the company, and I'm going to go ahead and log into my PayFabric account. And there's a lot of functionality inside of PayFabric. There's reporting, and you can process transactions, a lot of settings, but right now we're mainly focused on the receivable side. So in the upper left, I'm going to go ahead and switch to my receivables view. And when it loads up, I'm going to see like a quick little summary of my account. So I'll be able to see like all my outstanding invoices and balances and how many payments are being done by customers and what's being done by auto pay. And then we also have this nice insights section, which kind of shows how the system is working for me and the differences in my account. I kind of have test data, so it's not really that pleasing to look at, but you can kind of see here, you can see like, oh, our outstanding balance since last month has dropped and we have less invoices. Our past due balance has gone down, which is really great usually for a company. And you can see like if more users are signing up or more people are signing up for auto pay. And you can even like scale that back to like maybe weekly or quarterly. You can see like, oh, in the last quarter, maybe the numbers are a little different. Like we thought in the last month that our past due balance was good. It actually went down, but as far as the quarter view, in the last quarter, it actually went up. So something is happening in our business, and maybe it's just something we think about the causes of those issues. But aside from that, your internal users will be able to access like pretty much do everything I just showed on the customer portal, but on behalf of your customers. So if your business user, if your employees want to take payments over the phone or sign up customers for auto pay, they're having issues getting into the portal, they have all that functionality here from inside the internal user portal. So if I want to pay invoices, like customer says, hey, I want to pay my invoices, you can say, okay. And it pretty much pulls up the exact same screen, same data. So there's really no misconception of like, oh, I don't see it, I can't see the invoices, because you're looking at the exact same data the customer has access to. So if I come in here and want to make another payment, you'll actually see it's the exact same screens. And then the really nice part is you have access to the wallet. So if your business says like, hey, I don't want our employees to touch credit cards, they can use the saved credit cards from your customers, or they can, you know, if your business does allow for credit card entry, you can actually allow that as well. And one of the things we do support for your internal users is point encryption, which is like it's a secure method of entering credit cards onto a secure number pad. So basically, as soon as your users enter the credit card onto this secure number pad, the credit card is technically secured and never touches your network or your computers, just your employees, which is a little lower scope, but the best way is to get your customers to enter their own credit card detail. So they can process credit cards on behalf of customers as well. So let me go ahead and leave. And then all that other functionality, auto pay, prepayment history, wallet, users, they have all that functionality available, as your employees will be able to sign up customers for auto pay, the exact same experience as signing up the customer doing it themselves. And then they can also invite users. So if a user is on the phone and says, hey, I need to get into the customer portal, your internal staff can just say, hey, go ahead and sign up. We'll create a user, give me your email, and we'll forward an account off to you. And then they'll get that same email I showed at the beginning. Or actually, it wouldn't be in regards to the invoices. It would just say, please sign up for the portal. You also have a view of seeing all the outstanding invoices from here as well. So when you click into here, you'll be able to see a list of all your invoices. And what you'll be able to do here is you can also do filters on this page. So there's a lot of filter options available, like you can filter by the due date or certain types of invoices. But once you've applied your filters that you're happy with, you can pretty much just go in and mark off which invoices you want to send out if you want to do this manually. So I can kind of click into here and send them off. And then you can see I have this email button. And in my environment, I set up a few different templates. You can name these, you can set them up, style them, whatever you like. But I've just set up for an example purpose. I can say, here's my friendly reminder that I send, the invoice is new. And as we click closer to the due date, I'll send the less friendly reminder. And then as the due date goes by, maybe the not so friendly reminder. And as you send these reminders out, you can actually, if you send it to multiple people, it'll just send it out in bulk. But if you send it to one person, you can actually look at the details into it. And it's actually going to generate a version of the reminder that's about to be sent out. And maybe you're having a call with someone, you want to put a little personal message, you can customize this and change it as you feel, or send it to a different person if you need to. And you can even download the email or the invoice PDF file. And otherwise, you can send it out. And one of the things I did want to call out is that at the beginning, we sent this email out and we saw that we had the pay now and the register button. I think I still have it open. Yeah, so we have the register button. But in this case, this user has already signed up for my customer portal, so it knows that they already have an account. And it ran some logic in the background that says, oh, David has already signed up, so give him a login button instead. So that way, because obviously I can't just keep creating accounts, so it has that logic in the background. And that's also one more point about the reminders is I just showed how you can send it out manually. We also have the option, not to dig too far into the settings here, a lot of settings. I can come in here and I can actually schedule the reminder as well. So this reminder, I showed the manual mechanism for sending it, but I also have the option to schedule it. So if I want to schedule, I can say, send this reminder maybe after the day it was posted in Business One, or I want to send it before the due date or on the due date or after the due date. If I send it before the due date, it'll say 7 days before the due date. I can actually have it sent out automatically. And I can set multiple reminders up. So I can change the name here and say, this is a 7-day early reminder. And I have another one say, here's the 1 day before reminder, and here's the 30 days after and the 60 days after. And you can put different language each one that's probably progressively more threatening. But so that's how the reminders can really be scheduled and sent off to people. There's a lot of other functionality here. You can view the payments. Let's see, I have full access to view all the payments that have happened on the portal. I can import data in bulk if I need to, create mass users, sign up people for auto pay in bulk, the data import option. I can see the integration status. So this page will show all the integration status of records that have integrated between my Business One system and the PayFabric system to make sure everything is always in sync, or if anything's not in sync, we can kind of drill down and see why. And then we also have the emails page. It's kind of like a communication log. So you can see all the emails that have been sent out of the portal and even like drill down into them and say like, oh, here's the confirmation that was sent from that payment I made a little earlier for the $100 payment. And if I need to, maybe someone says, I never got that email. You sent it to an employee who left the company 2 years ago or something. You can actually resend these emails and you can redirect it to whoever you need to and even change the messaging if you really need to for some reason. Without really drilling too far into all the additional functionality and settings, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover on like the internal portal. We talked about auto pay, and we also talked about the customer portal side. So I think I'll pass it back to Tyson to maybe see if there's any more questions or anything we want to talk about before we carry
David,
on.
there's one question that's come up, and is it possible to add this portal to their website, like the payment portal?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's actually a lot of functionality for the payment portal. We've designed it to be very API driven. So if you have development, you can actually integrate our portal into if you have a website, you can integrate it. And we've provided a few different options for how you want to get that portal integrated. If you want to like fully take control of all the functionality, look and feel and everything, we have those APIs available. But one of the easy routes that a lot of our customers will do is if they have a portal that maybe today where their customers are logging in and they do not want to, they want to get all this functionality, but they don't want to have to give their customers another login to access because we all have far too many of those. So one of the things we do have is something we call pass-through authentication, which is you can put like a fancy link on your portal that has some security stuff. And it's just like a very simple API call that basically allows your user, so from your user's experience, the customer will log into your portal, see all whatever they need to do with your business, and then have a link that maybe says something like pay my invoices. And that link will use the pass-through authentication and basically take them straight to the customer portal, but bypass the login page because your portal has talked to our portal and said this is a good guy, let him through. With all that security information going through, they'll get taken straight to the login page, where basically they'll be able to do whatever they need to do on our portal. And then you can even have the like instead of a logout button, you can swap that out for a button that says go back to home portal or something. You can label it, and they can get taken back to your portal. And that's a really quick way to get your users to get all this functionality without having to like do too much work. But if you do want to take the full experience and try and embed like paying invoice, selecting the invoices, and signing up for automatic payments and the history, you can put that into your portal and just use our API integration as well. And then by using our API, when the payments happen, they'll automatically still get pulled into Business One same way.
Excellent. Thank you, David. So I'm just going to become the presenter here. So I'm just going to open it up to any questions, but I want to highlight the reason that we at Third Wave chose to partner with PayFabric is because you can see they really have a good handle on not only just the payment processing, but the collection process, the portal experience for the customer. So it really is a complete automated collection solution for your business, whether you're whether you're selling products or selling services. You could even set up like the monthly payment, regular payments like subscriptions and those types of things with PayFabric as well. So this is why we chose to partner with PayFabric. Our integration does all of the passing of the data back and forth, and we tried to make it really, really easy for you, the SAP Business One user, to be able to support your customers the way that they want to interact with you digitally.